Hey guys, it is the Raw wrap up on Mike Sorgat, Sorgatron on the Twitter. Minutes after we go off the air, watching Raw, we get together, and well, it's just me this time. I don't know. Maybe some people will pop in. We'll see. But in the meantime, we are ready to go. We're talking Raw, not that other crazy thing that happened tonight. Because please, no. Please no. It looks like maybe everybody else watched that instead, according to the Twitter. I'm sure we're all split screening it because what a Raw it was. Of course, now myself, I missed the first half hour because I'm coming off of a binge fest live tweet streaming kind of thing with Lucha Underground, but still, at Sorgatron on Twitter here, Mayhem Studios, Pittsburgh, PA, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You get those out of the way. But anyways, Raw tonight, I thought was a really good one. We had, of course, Enzo and Cass and the Best Friends Forever. Can we just call them Best Friends Forever, like as a tag team name? Like that kind of works for me, right? But anyways, but no, I think that I think it was great because it was actually at the point of the show where I'm thinking, man, where's Enzo and Cass? We had two tag matches, one with jobbers. Again, more fantastic use of jobbers here. Bailey gets a jobber match. The new Cesaro Sheamus tandem gets a jobber match. So okay, we're good to go there. But a fantastic, just fun, especially if you did have like me the debate on in a tab in your browser while you're watching Raw on the main TV, as you should, because you care about your country. It was refreshing to just have, like, crass jokes about sitting in a man's lap and screwing up the Santa Claus thing. So, which makes you wonder if that was is that just how it came out? Did he flip it on purpose? But that may be the genius of Jericho. But again, like I said, lots of fun, a lot of good stuff tonight. We had the ladies, I think, mixing up, setting up for a return match next week. Of course, they're setting up LA next week, and we've got a good four weeks, I think, until the next Raw pay-per-view. So they're doing a pretty big show at the Staples Center. Again, Raw at the Staples Center, which has hosted WrestleManias. I think people need to remember that. And of course, SummerSlam for several years. So this is a big deal for them if you're wondering why they're stacking that card for next week. So ladies are doing amazing. Great tag match, a fun tag match tonight with Enzo and Cass and, of course, Jericho and Owens. I'm okay with every show just ending with Kevin Owens in the ring yelling at people. It works for me so well. But Cruiserweights. Let's talk about the Cruiserweights, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit more on the Wrestling Mayhem show this week. Our friend Chris LaRusso is actually going to be joining us of Ring of Honor and IWC fame, and I realized this last night, and I don't know if it just didn't dawn on me last week. I know the color scheme was there and everything like that. They changed the ring ropes every time there's a match. So if you're wondering why Stephanie's dressing down of Mick Foley was so long, because they had to change the ring ropes probably. So there's that. I'm kind of curious to see how long that keeps up. And I know it probably shouldn't surprise me. I see ring ropes go up at indie wrestling events, and it seems like it's constantly the thing that takes forever for them to do. Obviously, there's with WWE, there's a lot of there's a lot of ring monkeys kind of in play here, so it's not going to be such a big deal. Maybe the ring is kind of put together a little differently because we have these weird video screens everywhere, so maybe they had to modify how that does. I'm sure they can do custom rings that maybe it's a snap-in process. They made it just super easy to put these rings together, and we can just swap out the ropes twice in a night on Raw, apparently, back and forth. So either way, I think Cruiserweight division is being very well represented. We had a tag match. Just so great to see, people that we've seen through here. Friend of the show, Cedric Alexander. We've talked with him last year on the Indie Mayhem show. Guys that we know from the International Wrestling Cartel, like Tony Nese, like Rich Swann, the aforementioned Alexander, and Lince Dorado, we've all seen come through here in the Pittsburgh area. And to see them just dropped into matches on Monday Night Raw is great. I'm worried that the crowd isn't getting into it. and that leads to my other theory, because after just binging about 19 straight episodes of the first season of Lucha Underground, I'm starting to think that wrestling of this nature maybe doesn't work in front of crowds of 10,000 people. Like the 400 to 1,000 might be the way to go. I'm not sure. But just that's a thought that maybe we'll explore at a different time. But tremendous tag match, tremendous. I think that was an official title match. I didn't catch, but really good stuff I thought tonight out of the cruiserweights. If this is the way they're going to represent the division, and now we're in this interesting spot, aren't we? Where we have a cruiserweight division, we have a tag division, and we have a women's division. So, and each of them seems to be given time. And this is something, if you watch a certain puppet video on the internet, he's very impressed with these pay-per-views on the brand splits, that matches are given time to breathe. And I agree with that a lot. But I also think that when we look at something like Monday Night Raw with all their divisions, and I'm curious, maybe this doesn't work so well on SmackDown because the kind of the time allotted to that, but it does seem that we do have, concurrent weight to multiple storylines. Not that the universal storyline with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins feels unimportant, but the U.S. title match tonight, and again, I came in about a half an hour late, unfortunately. I caught most of the end of the match with Rusev and Roman Reigns, and I was actually really happy with how that turned out too. Geez, if you're not behind what's happening with Rusev and Reigns, between at least give me last night and tonight, man, I think you just hate Roman Reigns. Throwing that out there. But you have that. You have the stuff happening with the cruiserweight title. You have like stuff happening with the women's, and you got great women to work with as well. You have stuff going on with the tag team titles. And by the way, Gallows and Anderson, again, this is the Gallows and Anderson I've been looking for, and it's good to see them in that. And again, I'm not 100% watching Raw. Let's be honest, who is? Because you're kind of getting through it, and then commercials takes me in and out of it. It's not like sitting down and just zoning on a pay-per-view, right? What happened to Kofi? I was hoping some people would have hopped on here to join me tonight to see what happened to just bust Kofi into a crimson mask tonight on the show. So very, very interesting. So again, very good show tonight. I'm loving the Cesaro Sheamus odd couple thing. It has been suggested. Riz, I think, called it from the start of the Best of 7 series. So props go to Riz for that. You win the internet tonight. Or you won the internet about 2.5 months ago, I think. But anyways, good stuff there. I'm curious to see how that goes. I kind of do, but don't hope that they're the ones that break the 400+ day win streak of the New Day. Again, and we talked about this, I think we talked about this last week as well, or with other titles. Who do you have take those titles away? It needs to be not a stupid thing. It needs to be, it needs to have some weight to it. It has to be some reason to it. It can't just boil back down into a tag division belt swapping, and then, I worry that they're not going to take the belts off a New Day until they're ready to break up New Day. And I don't want that day to happen. But again, they're throwing cereal at the crowd tonight. I don't think New Day is going anywhere anytime soon. Aside from that, how much of Raw was watchable? Please let us know at Mayhem Show on Twitter. It's kind of our measure on this show of how much of Raw was watchable to you. How much was, I want to say tolerable, but just because Raw over the years has been such a grind for us. So looking at that, I say definitely tonight, kind of discounting the fact that I missed a first about 20-25 minutes of Raw. I think, I want to go about 2:45. I'm presuming that the rest of that first half hour of Raw was as good as the little bit that it ended on. So I'm going to go with that. I have a blind spot there, but I'm going to go 2:45 for this one. I thought it was a really good, strong show tonight. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of variety, had some laughs, had some interesting, awkward moments with Mick Foley. I feel bad for Mick Foley, guys. Like on different like several levels at this point. And I'm kind of curious to see where we're going to go with that. We will be talking more extensively, of course, about most likely WWE as a whole. Maybe I'll touch base on a little bit of my first 19 episodes I watched straight of Lucha Underground Season 1. I'm going to go through 19 more to finish off Season 1 here this next Sunday. We're probably going to do some streams and live tweets of that as well. Had a lot of fun there. I am so tired right now. I actually took a nap. That's why I missed the first half hour of Raw, because I had about like an hour and a half before Raw, and I'm like, okay, I want to lay down on the couch. And yeah, because we started watching Lucha Underground at like midnight last night after the pay-per-view. Why do I do this to myself? I do it because I love wrestling. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. live.wrestlingmayhemshow.com, Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, Chris LaRusso of Ring of Honor Television and, of course, the International Wrestling Cartel. And he's been around a few different places. Maybe I'll ask him why he was wrestling by a river in West Virginia this past weekend. As I said, he's pretty much everywhere. So he'll be joining us to talk about the general wrestling discussion. And also, we're going to have a few special recordings for Indie Mayhem Show, including Justin LaBar of Chair Shot Reality in the Wrestle Zone, and Justin Plummer of the International Wrestling Cartel, talking about their kind of Survivor Series type match that they're putting together for House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore here in Pittsburgh. And of course, Britt Baker, somebody else has also been on Raw. I think she was the first victim of Nia Jax on Raw when it was here in Pittsburgh a few months ago. She'll be joining us on the live stream on Thursday. Go to the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page, and you can find out information on those events and how you can join us for them. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Keep it raw.